Hello everyone, welcome back to Real Reds Talk, the #1 independent fan channel dedicated to Manchester United. And Cristiano Ronaldo has left Manchester United. What a bombshell. Not expecting it at all, just getting prepared to go live for a breaking news show. We had topics on that to discuss, and then boom, big news, club statement, which I'm going to read out very shortly. Adam, Sam, I'll go to you. Adam, I'll go to you first actually with the mask on. Oh, Cristiano, how do you feel about the situation? What's going on?
For me,
This accent is already terrible.
It's
Already
Birmingham
terrible.
Cristiano Ronaldo. For me,
yeah.
yeah.
Ten Hag thought he was better looking than me.
God.
Wasn't worth it.
Mascot. There we go.
Insulting.
Yeah,
Probably better
Ronaldo.
looking anyways.
Ronaldo leaving Manchester United. Adam, wow.
Did not expect that, honestly. We were kind of preparing for a live to come at around 6:30, and then this news broke us in the middle of watching the Poland and Mexico game, and then suddenly it's just meltdown, a complete meltdown on the timeline. And I'm like, what is going on? And it came out, and then the United put the official statement out, and it's ended now. Look, none of us expected it to end like this. It shouldn't have ended like this. It shouldn't have come to this.
Like a lyric from a love song, Adam.
Yeah. But look, there's you can't love if you can't, feel heartbreak. So
Yeah.
there's
Sad
balance to
times.
everything.
Yeah.
It is sad times, but look, if it means we're definitely going to sign a striker now in January, it has to happen. Look, I'm all for it. I think it has to happen.
That's something I definitely will get into a little bit later. Sam, as soon as I saw that news, you know the song by Nickelback, Someday?
Yeah.
And the start of it is, how the hell did we wind up like this?
Yeah.
Them lyrics reading very true at the minute. How did we end up like this?
I'm reminded of the other Nickelback song, Photograph. I've got, you got all your posters of Ronaldo. Look at this photograph.
Yeah, look, man. Fucking, he's ingrained in us.
As Man United, can we just have one day where it's not fucking complete and utter chaos? Just one day. Jesus Christ. Like, literally, I was walking home from work, like you said, setting up. Adam's getting shagged by Ronaldo from behind her. Yeah. That's why he got fired. I was walking home from work, and then I checked as I was at the lights. I'd literally checked my phone, and there's 17 messages on the group chat, and I'm like, "What the fuck has happened here? Either someone's died or something's happened." And I checked, and Nick's like, "Can anybody go live? Can someone go live? Ronaldo's gone."
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. So yeah, I'd like one day where we're not in utter chaos every single day. But Adam said, I'm glad it's done. I'm glad it's over with. He's gone. It's finished. Mutually terminated. According to Ronaldo, I don't know if that's the case, but
yeah,
okay.
It is.
So he's gone. He can focus on the World Cup. We can focus on United going forward, and yeah, I'm sure we'll get into the quotes and stuff, and I'll get into my personal feelings on Ronaldo later in the show. But yeah, initial reaction is, thank fuck it's over with, because Jesus Christ, I was hoping this wasn't going to drag out throughout the entire World Cup, and then yeah, we're at this point now, so here we are.
I was going to say it almost feels like a first breakup, but we've already had the first breakup because you left.
We took him back,
of course.
We took him
2009,
back.
And then we was like, right, no, she's the one. I'm telling you, she's the one. We've gone back to her, and now she's fucking left us again, and we're in ruins, and we're in absolute bits.
Never go back to an ex.
Yeah. No. Never again. That's it now. The relationship is done, and I know I keep repeating myself. It is extremely sad. Big respect for everything he's done for the club, aside from the obvious, the interview with Piers Morgan and a couple of other things that he's done as well. But you look at his time, even when he was there before he came back in the Champions League, the bits he did there, the bits he did in the Premier League. I consider him a legend. I know most of you guys don't consider him a legend, but of Manchester United, for me, I've always adored the guy, man. Absolutely adored him.
There's some people in the chat who put some memories in. Shall I read some out?
Yeah, go for it.
Joseph Jack has put, Ronaldo leaving United and joining Real Reds. Nah, we won't have him, mate. Not doing that. Aaron Gregory, Viva Ronaldo, thanks for the contributions last season, the years before. Sad it ended this way, but both parties, legend. Shreyas, I hope he's able to end his career in the best way wherever he goes. Legend of the club, shouldn't have ended this way, but it is what it is. So yeah. Very similar sentiments from everybody in the chat.
I think after he dropped that Piers Morgan interview, Adam, it was only going to end up one way. There's absolutely no chance a guy, after doing that interview, calling out Ten Hag, Ragnick, the youth players, all the other stuff that was mentioned as well, where he's going to walk back into that dressing room and be respected and everything's going to be fine and dandy. I think this is always going to happen, won't it?
Always was. It's reminiscent of Roy Keane doing the MUTV interview, which was never released, but it was probably along the same lines of this, like calling out the players in the dressing room, being not good enough, being very, very critical of the manager, your boss, and it's never going to end well. Let's be honest, we all knew this was coming once we knew the interview was coming as well. And it seemed to take the club by surprise. So the club weren't informed of this. The manager wasn't informed of this, and they were left in the dark. So they had to react and wait. They were probably, in the same boat as us. They were watching Piers Morgan, drip little bits here and there. So the club couldn't prepare for it in any other way. So this is how it had to end, and it was inevitable. Once he announced it, it would be over. I think he saw it as a way out as well. So. Look, both parties have now agreed, and just thank God it's done.
Absolutely. Sam, I want to read you out a few of the quotes coming out from this and then get your thoughts on them. So, club statement, so Cristiano Ronaldo is set to leave Manchester United by mutual agreement with immediate effect. Everyone at Manchester United remains focused on continuing the team's progress under Erik Ten Hag and working together to deliver success on the pitch. There's another one there. Ronaldo set to leave United by mutual agreement with immediate effect. The club thank him for his immense contribution across 2 spells at Old Trafford. And then coming out from Ronaldo's side, following conversations with Manchester United, we have mutually agreed to end our contract early. I love Manchester United and I love the fans. That will never change. However, it feels like the right time for me to seek a new challenge. I wish the team every success for the remainder of the season and for the future. Slight snigger from yourself there, Sam. Do you want to explain that?
I love the club. I love the club that I've just chucked under a bus in an interview and slagged off every single aspect of it. And yeah, some of the parts that he slagged off were totally right. The training facilities, the Glazers, all that sort of stuff. Totally in agreement with it. But you can't throw a manager under the bus who's been there less than 6 months, is just starting to build the team, has done better than any other manager so far in terms of sort of structuring the team and getting the way they play and stuff like that. And then chucking young players under the bus. Why? I don't understand what the need for that was. Like, you just have these young players who probably look up to him. We've probably had posters of him on their walls growing up. Like, he's an idol to them. And,
you think he was wrong about the young players, though, what he said?
I think to blanket them all with the same brush is wrong, because I don't think every single youth player is that. I'm sure there is some. Youth players.
Well, he picked out a handful, didn't he? He said Dallo,
Yeah.
Lissandro.
They're not young players. They're not young players, are they?
Dallo's 23, 22.
No, but I'm talking like Garnacho, Kobe Mainoo, like, you know what I mean? The youth players who are not in the first team. That's what I'm talking about. I think there's certain players at the club who, aren't at a standard. There's one of them playing for England right now, and for United, he just seems to be absolutely terrible. For England, seems to do very, very well. So yeah, I think to lie and say you love the club, you don't love the club. You came back to the club because Sir Alex Ferguson stepped in. You would have gone to City. He definitely would have gone to City had Sir Alex not stepped in. So don't tell me you love the club, because if you love the club, you would never even consider going to City. So yeah, I don't believe that. I think he loves the fans in his own head, like the way he sees it. I think he does. But I think the way he's gone about it, if you truly love the fans, I don't think you'd go about it in this way, in the way he's sort of done it. So I think it's a tricky sentence. But like, what else is he going to say? Do you know what I mean? Like, he's already said the explosive things in the interview. It's finally ended, so both parties have probably made an agreement. Look, let's just stop the slagging match. Let's stop all this bullshit. We'll both put out just a nice little statement, and we'll both move on, and that's it, done. So
You think in hindsight, though, Sam, looking at it now, that would have been the only way he left the club now, let's say, for example.
Yeah.
Because if he hadn't kicked up a fuss, maybe he would have been here until the end of the season.
He got
Um,
what he wanted.
Well-
Like, he did this interview to get out of the club.
Yeah.
And he's got what he wanted. And that's the end of it. Like, there's, in his head, probably the ends justify the means. That's probably how he's thinking about it. Like, he wanted to get out of the club. Nobody came in for him in the summer, despite what he said in the interview. And nobody was probably looking like they were coming in January either, the way he was playing and the performances and stuff. So he knew he had to get out, and the only way to get out and sign with another club was to be a free agent. So what does he need to do? This is what he needs to do, and this is what he did. So, like everybody said, I wish it ended a different way. But if he thinks that was the way to go, then obviously that's what he's done. So I don't agree with it, but here we are.
How would you reflect on his time here, Adam? Because obviously the first season, you know, you can't argue with his numbers. Second season is just his forms absolutely fell off a cliff. And then the feeling, describe the feeling as well you got when he came back to Newcastle, his first debut, and he scored a brace. Like, we all remember that. So just talk me through that if you can.
Yeah, because I remember at the time all the rumors were about City, and then it just seemed to come out of nowhere. The sudden push that he's going to United, and then United announced it. And I remember exactly where I was. I was actually in the south west coast of France on a beach, and I just get up and I go, yes, and I'm there half naked at the time. I could nearly do sorry in my speedos.
It's just an Irish wang floating about the French beach.
Oh, geez, I was
Like a-
excited
like a-
that
like
time
a-
anyway, but
like a white glow stick, just.
Yeah.
is that a white flag on the beach?
Yeah.
Yeah. Surrender.
Oh, jeez. Well, that wouldn't be a surprise. The French are used to that, but
Yeah.
yeah.
There
got
we
it in
go.
there.
There we go.
But yeah, I remember then the whole feeling, the build up. Those lucky few who ended up buying a ticket to the Newcastle game, like those tickets were selling for
I
insane
tried
prices
so
at the
hard.
time, I remember.
So hard
Yeah.
to get a ticket for that.
And I remember watching it, and then you're like looking at it, and then the roar, and then the Peter Drury
Oh.
commentary on top of it. It
Manchester, Madrid, Turin, back to Manchester.
was.
Oh man, loved it.
It was a dream,
Loved
honestly, and it was. I think he described it. What was it like? Caesar coming back to Rome.
Yeah.
It was like after a victory. It
Yeah,
was
and then,
just
but a
one
lot
of
like
those moments.
like Caesar, he then fucking set fire to Rome and watched it burn. So
yeah,
So either way, it's kind of fitting the
it's
analogy anyway.
very,
innit, to be
very
fair?
pathetic, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then obviously got 2 goals, and particularly that second goal. The second goal, the roof went off the place because it was 1-1 at the time, I think it was. And it was just classic Ronaldo counter-attack, through ball, opened up, finish. I think it was through the legs of the keeper too.
Yeah.
Unreal goal. Who's now playing for us, I'm pretty sure that goalkeeper is. He's under contract. And then the season went ahead, didn't go to plan. Ollie got the sack, but his numbers were great, no matter what, even if he's playing bad. I remember he went through a bit of a patch where he wasn't scoring, and it was like the longest in a while, but then he got his goal. You see, then it went a wee bit downhill, Ragnick, and then obviously the death of his son. Obviously, it's such a big loss as well, and even still now. And I don't know how you can, mentally recover from that. Maybe that's had an impact on what's happened this season going on. But like first trip to Old Trafford, and I see a Ronaldo hat trick. Like, yeah, you couldn't really ask for a better day. Honestly, it was fantastic, the feeling. So I'll give him props for that. I always kind of look up to him. Like for me, probably the best. And like for me, I think he's the best. He was all round. Like he was that kind of skillful winger, and then he went into the middle, and he was just a goal scoring machine. Broke records left, right, and center, and it just had to end this way. Then it's a shame because like I think it should have ended a lot better. Like if people are saying maybe if we waited till January, but I think after the interview it had to happen. If he didn't do the interview, leave in January, but the interview caused so much stir particularly in the fan base, such a divide. But it's over now. and we just got to look forward. Who can we sign? But I'll thank him for all the memories because there were some great memories, especially in that Champions League run as well.
Yeah, I can think of numerous goals. That goal against that Atlanta, the volley in like the 92nd minute was unreal. There's only a handful of people who could have scored that goal. The last minute goals, there was so many of them. There was one against Villarreal where Luke Shaw crossed it in for a header. There was numerous situations he absolutely pulled us out of the shit last season. If him and De Gea weren't in the team, we would have been close to fucking relegation at that point. So definitely last season you can't deny the numbers were there. What about the timing of it though, Sam? Because obviously Cristiano's yet to play a game for Portugal in the World Cup. I'm not sure when they play. I think it's either tomorrow or Thursday. He's gonna like the fact that it's done now, innit? Because now we can just purely focus on the World Cup. Do you think that's why they've announced it now?
Yeah, he's probably accepted an agreement. Like he's probably not getting his full contract. I think they're probably not paid out his full contract.
Because he's breached it, right?
Yeah, so he's probably accepted either nothing or a lesser payment just to get it done now, so he can concentrate on the World Cup and just focus on that. If United wanted to be vindictive, they could have dragged it out and waited till like they were in a major semi-final or final or something, and then dropped the bomb, couldn't they? If they wanted to be vindictive, but clearly, I imagine Ten Hag's had a say in this. He's clearly just gone, look, let's get this done, let's get this finished. I can focus on the team that's here, and then when they come back in December, we can move on and we can focus on the season and just continue the progress. And I think that's probably best for all parties at this point.
How do we deal with the after effects of this then, Adam? Because obviously, regardless of what people say, and he's only scored 1 goal in 10 games, and there's definitely an argument in that, but we've lost a player. We've lost a big player, a player, a striker, more to the point where we're already kind of thin in that area anyway. Martial, as we know, has his injury issues. Time to back the manager now? Like, what happens in January? Because we keep hearing these things consistently as United fans, and I'm not just bringing it up for the sake of it. We're hearing they're going to pull the purse strings. They don't want to spend any money. Now Ronaldo's gone. The guy's on. Well, he was on 500k a week, but I think it got reduced to 375 because we didn't get the Champions League. But still a massive wage missing. Probably going to save
absolute peasant money, that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Absolute peasant money.
Yeah, that would probably take me, fuck knows how long. Just one week's of his wages, I probably couldn't earn in a lifetime, honestly. But yeah, what happens now? The after effects of it, because they're probably going to save 10 mil. I think they're going to take it in dividends. You reckon?
Oh, well, let's hope not. There'll be absolute war in the fan base, and there'll be mass protesting again. I think it will get a lot more toxic if they don't back the manager now. More than ever, we need someone in, because we lack so many people up front. Like it's actually a bit upsetting at this point. Like our wingers aren't firing. We don't have a recognised number 9 now. The only advantage is the World Cup is on, and there's no club football, so we're not kind of pressured now to bring someone in right now. We can work on a deal, and then it might be about 3 games, and then we could maybe get someone in. But if the club had common sense, they'd start the negotiations of deals right now. They would. They have a long time to actually do it. I think our next game is on Boxing Day.
No, it's the 21st, Carabao Cup against Burnley.
Okay, Burnley. Okay. Look, and anyway, he would have started this season, but if we looked at it last season, he probably wouldn't have. A youth team and beat Burnley these days. And our first kind of competitive, like, important game, you could say, really is that Boxing Day fixture. Who are we playing actually on Boxing Day?
Nottingham Forest, and it's not on Boxing Day; it's on the 27th.
On the 27th, okay.
Yeah.
And then you're looking at maybe 4 days, and you're into January, and then you can sign players. And that's preferably they could get someone in early January. But our club, they like to drag everything out to do.
Bruno was the end of January, wasn't it? When we signed him.
Yeah, but exactly. weren't we in for him in the summer before?
Yeah. So even then, the talks already progressed. Then they get to January, and it's like, right, we can sign him now. And they're like, no, what we'll do is we'll wait until near the last day, then we'll sign him. And it's like, they're so fucking frustrating, aren't they, Adam?
Yeah, and it's the same every year. It is. We saw we could have gotten a load of players cheaper, saved maybe about 30 to 40 million earlier in the summer if we didn't waste all our time on one deal. any competent club would actually, negotiate multiple deals at once. Yeah, I think we really need to get someone in early, just pay the fee. Clubs are going to know we're desperate too, so we might have to overpay. That's the sad reality of it. And we have overpaid, especially near the end of a transfer window when we're in desperate need of one. We done it with Anthony.
Adam, when do we not overpay? It doesn't matter if we're desperate or not. We always overpay. It don't fucking matter. Just that's the way United do business. We just overpay every single time. It's just fucking ridiculous.
Yep. Can add, maybe 10-20% onto the actual fee. That's usually how our club operate. But yeah, we should be looking at negotiating deals right now to bring someone in, whether that's like a Sesko or someone like that.
Don't get Nick excited. Don't excite him.
I saw Aaron say Murata in the chat. So
Murata.
Is that side of it too?
Oh, breaking news.
No,
Dan's just dropped it in the chat. Ronaldo walks away for nothing without a penny of the 16 million remaining on his contract.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to. Yeah, I was just about to mention that to you then. So Ronaldo will not be receiving a payoff. Club want a swift, clean resolution, and they've got it apparently. United were ready to sue Ronaldo for breach of contract if a mutual termination could not be agreed, and that's coming from Rob Dawson at ESPN. But
thank God there's not a sue thing, just because Jesus Christ, I couldn't
that's
deal
the
with
last
that.
fucking thing. And Ronaldo's like, come on, mate, we've probably got about 3 billion in the bank. Are you really that arse? About 10 million. That's like a tenner to him. So just walk away. It's better for everyone. And it's not ended as ugly as you thought it would. But it's certainly time to back the manager now, isn't it, Sam?
Yeah. I know you like Gakpo. He obviously scored, didn't he, for the Netherlands? Was it yesterday? Or the day before?
Yeah, just on that quick stat for you, he's got the most goal contributions in Europe now out of any player.
Wow. Yeah. So, and he was playing striker. Was he playing 10 or was he playing striker yesterday?
He was playing as like a 10.
Yeah.
But the way Van Hal is very fluid, like players chop and change.
So again, there's a versatile player we've been linked with before. The Ten Hag has the same agent. He's seen him play. That seems like the sensible choice right there. We can go get a deal done for him now. If Ten Hag's got the same agent, just get Ten Hag to give him a call, sort it out. Obviously, the longer he goes in the World Cup, the more goals he scores, the fucking price is just going to start rocketing. So, why not, like Adam said, go do the deal now. Just get it sorted and fucking done. Announce it after the World Cup, and then you calm the fan base down. You settle everything, and we know we've got a striker / winger coming in January, and we can sort of go from there.
Yeah, I think this is an important movement, especially for Ten Hag, because with all this happening, I can't see any players in that dressing room now having a wink to say. Like, if they're going to complain about something, mate, have you seen what I've just done to the biggest global superstar, the biggest social media presence ever? He's gone. Terminated his contract because
he got paid nothing, and you think you're gonna fucking take up?
Yeah, well, and there's some youngsters gonna kick up a fuss, mate. Yeah, get to the back of the fucking line. This is, you know what I mean? It's about discipline. It's about order, and there's levels to this shit. And I think this will have a massive after effect in that dressing room, and it's the best thing to do. And I don't think, to be honest, someone like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer would have had the spine to do that, because he's played with him as well. You've got that kind of mates rates, the link up between friends. And you saw that in the interview as well when he was talking about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, because he was slagging off Ragnick from the Hills, even though Ragnick CV when it comes to football, he knows what he's talking about. He's had many promotions, etc. And Ole's done fuck all, basically. He's won a title with Mould. And when he got asked about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, great coach, going to be a great coach in the future. You know, it wasn't his time, he had to go. So the mates rate was always there with them two, and that would have never happened under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. But now Ten Hag's come in, he's assessed the situation, and he's like, this guy needs to go. He's not contributing anything on the pitch. He's distracting everything from the work I'm putting in. And young players, if he's setting an example like that, the players that are going to come through. Imagine Garnacho watching that, and if this situation would have been like, now Ronaldo's staying, he's on this much money, brings this much money in, etc. Garnacho's going to get to one point in his career, or maybe even Anthony or someone like that, and think, well, he did it, so I can do it. He got away with it. I'm going to fucking kick up a fuss because I want to lead. Like, it just sets precedent now for the rest of the players in that dressing room, and that's one thing I'm happy about. But I've got to admit, I'm different to you, Sam, in the sense like I feel a little bit more emotional with this, because I think I know you kind of cut ties with that interview. That interview, you know, was a massive thing for you, and you just like fuck him, etc., etc. But I don't know what it is, man. I don't know if it's because when I was a kid in 2006, the coming from Sporting Lisbon and stuff. Like, I've just got this emotional attachment, and it's sad, man.
They're separate memories for me. Like they'll always be there. They'll always remain. And when I think of Ronaldo, that's the time I think of. I think of that time. The noodle hair and the lack of end products, and then getting better slowly, playing with Nani and stuff like that. That's how I'll remember Ronaldo. Like this sort of debacle, as it were. I won't dwell on it too long. Like, it's done now. It's finished.
Not even last season.
It was nice. Last season was nice, but it wasn't. That wasn't true Ronaldo. Like, that wasn't the absolute blistering pace, the absolute ferocity and stuff that he had when he was with us previously. I think, yeah, that's how I'll remember him. This was kind of like a little footnote on his career and stuff like that. Everybody's going to talk about coming from Sporting Lisbon, going to United, establishing himself as one of the best players in the world, going to Madrid, cementing that legacy. And then I think Juventus and United is kind of a little footnote, a little sort of amendment at the bottom. Oh, he did this, and this, blah, blah, blah. So I think that's the things people remember him for. It'd be interesting to see what people like Rio, Roy Keane, people who've defended him, and people who've
I think you know what
it'd just be interesting to see what they say now. And they'll probably just be like, oh, yeah, well, it's done now, and we can all move on. It's just like, yo, you weren't saying this before. You were saying he was being disrespected, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, it'd be interesting.
Well, Keane had the same thing, didn't he? He did it, and then he went in a bit. Where does he go next, Adam?
I think looking at it, you're hoping kind of Sporting. He's probably hoping Sporting too. I think they're through to the next round as well in the Champions League, so he might have a round or two of games.
You're not be cup because of the Europa League. I'm thinking
no, they don't do that anymore.
Different competition.
So if we were to sign,
not?
Yeah.
Oh, fair
but
enough.
even in the same competition, they've stopped that now as well. Because if we were to sign Memphis, he could still play against Barcelona. And, it just popped into my head that if we were to win the Europa League, would Ronaldo get a medal?
Yeah, interesting. Well, he's only scored one goal, so I don't think he fucking deserves it, to be honest. But who am I to decide?
No. But you're looking at it maybe Sporting. I know Bayern have kind of cut ties in a sense, then just talks about Real Madrid because Benzema's out for a while. I think it'll be maybe Sporting Lisbon, but he's going to have to take a big cut in his pay.
Yeah. What about yourself, Sam? Where do you think he could go potentially?
I don't think
Premier League club.
No, I mean, if there was going to be a Premier League club, it'd be Chelsea, would it? They're the only ones where Todd Bowley's mental enough to fucking do it, isn't he?
Yeah.
But I imagine Graham Potter's like not a... Yeah, maybe. I imagine Graham Potter's like not a fucking chance not having him anywhere near this. Newcastle, again, I don't think he fits in with what they're trying to build. They seem to be doing things the right way, building slowly, bringing the right players in. I don't think they're the sort of City thing where they just go Robinho, Rocky Santa Cruz, you know what I mean? Just chucking big names at stuff like that. So I don't think that. Sporting is probably the most obvious choice. I don't see it happening though, because they made inklings about it and the manager wasn't happy about it. The Sporting manager wasn't happy about the idea of Ronaldo coming to team and upsetting his system and stuff like that. I could see him going to the MLS. I think he might give up on the Champions League thing and go to the MLS.
I don't see that at all.
That's what I think is going to happen. That's what I see.
What about that Champions League record though? Because
who takes him? Who takes him?
If he takes a pay cut, I think many clubs will take him, to be honest.
I don't think. I think no club is going to risk the upset in the balance of the team that they have. Bayern ain't going to do it. Real Madrid ain't going to do it. PSG,
no clubs like that are.
PSG
Napoli,
ain't doing it.
Sporting Lisbon
Napoli won't do it. Napoli, they've got Osimhen. They're not going to upset that.
They want to offload Osimhen. They want to sell Osimhen.
Yeah, but they have to offload
and Sporting
him.
Lisbon. Why wouldn't he go to Sporting Lisbon?
Because the manager, like the Athletic, had an article out about the manager saying he doesn't want him because he upsets the way the team play and the balance and stuff like that, and then he has to make everything go through Ronaldo, and he's not up for it. He doesn't want it, so he's out of options. And the way he's behaved as well what manager's going to be like? Oh yeah, bring him in the team, bring him in.
Of course not. But if you're, let's say, a businessman at least, right, on a side of a club, and you look at the numbers and the views he brings to your club, and he's still capable of playing a certain way, it just obviously didn't work under Eric Ten Hag. If you're a club, with all due respect, the size of a Sporting Lisbon or someone like that, I think it is worth it personally.
No,
because what he produced last season showed that he's still at
he's not that guy.
level
He's not that guy anymore. He's not that guy.
But that's because of the way Ten Hag plays. That's his
No,
system
it's
in a
It's
different
not.
setup. It is. Of course it is.
His body. It's his body. It's his age. His stuff.
And why is that shown? Because of the way Ten Hag plays, the pressing.
No,
that's why it's shown.
Because
he could go to an Italian league now, back to Juventus, and still do a job.
He didn't do pre-season, so he's fucked his whole development. Because it's so important to do pre-season, not just for like players of like a peak age in the 20s and the early 30s. For a guy that old, and he is in football terms, he is old. Like he obviously he keeps himself in tremendous condition. Preseason is super important for your entire season. It sets you up for the entire season, and he missed it completely. So he's so behind in his development and stuff like that, and it's kind of like that thing. What's the phrase? Once you fall off the horse, you need to get straight back on it, and he hasn't. And I think that's just gonna roll back, and he's just gonna decline. And you're just gonna see this. I guarantee, if he goes to a club in the Champions League, you're gonna see the same performances. I guarantee it. He's not there anymore. That's why he needs to go to the MLS. That's why he needs to go to one of these leagues where he's gonna look absolutely fantastic in comparison. It's not. He hasn't got it anymore. He's gone. Like, he's finished. It's over. Like, I know you're looking for it because you love Ronaldo. You got.
No, it's not. It's not because of that. I've explained the reason why. It's because he's in the Premier League. The way Ten Hag sets up does not suit him at the minute. If he went to an Italian league now or a Portuguese league, he would still score 10 plus goals, 100%.
Not a chance.
Would still, and he will go to a Champions League club. I am willing to go out on a limb and say this now. We'll go to a Champions League club after the World Cup's finished, and he'll still do a job for them and score goals. Guarantee it.
If a Champions League club takes them on, it's their own death. Like they're signing their own death warrant, because you just bring in drama, you bring in chaos, and you bring in a guy who expects everything to go through him, and your players are going to start to mutiny. They're going to get pissed off, and it's just. Yep. It's not good. It's not good news. It's not good news. I'll let Adam talk anyway because he sat there.
I was about to say, Adam. I was about to say, Adam. I want to bring you in on this before we sign off on this and head over to the breaking news show. Your thoughts on what me and Sam was just discussing there.
Genuinely, I think the system just didn't suit him, and I think he plays best when he has a pacey kind of striker beside him as well. Like, if you were to put him Lukaku doesn't press that much. He doesn't do much running. Put Ronaldo in beside Martinez for Inter Milan, and I think he'd do a job. Honestly, I think he has that. His positioning is still there. Like, he gets himself into positions. I know he just wasn't firing them in, sadly for us. But I do think he could perform well at another club that would be in the Champions League as well. Whether that's back in Italy, is it, in Spain? Is it back in his home country, Portugal? Personally, I think he will kind of go to someone like that, as in Sporting. But it will bring, as Nick said, huge money and revenue into that. Sponsorships will flock there. Shirt sales will go through the roof every time, no matter what. People, and we know fine well that Ronaldo has a fan base behind him, bigger than some clubs even.
Yeah.
So that they spend money in that sense. But in terms of football, I think he might have a bit more to offer for another, year or two. Then he's hitting 40, and I think Buffon, I know, went on in his 40s, but
goalkeepers are a bit different, though, aren't they?
Ibrahimovic is 41 years old. He's still playing for AC Milan and doing a job there. He wouldn't fit in United system right now if you put him in there. So.
That's the thing. If you can fit a system with him, and he isn't doing that much running, but if you're getting him in the box at the end of goals, like crosses, he will score you goals. And we didn't see it enough at United. He dropped back to the right, nearly in a right mid position, left mid position.
That was so annoying when he was dropping deep. So annoying, man.
Yeah. And you want him in the box too, because the cross will come in. He's not there, and he's meant to be the best in the air as well. We didn't utilize his aerial ability that much, and I said it for over a year now in the chat, and at least best header of the ball
for me, I think, ever in terms of a striker, and we just never used it enough. Sad way to end. Had to end. It's better that it happened now. Hopefully the club are, aware of everything. I think Ten Hag somewhat has them a bit more orderly, so hopefully we can work on a deal now. But I do think he can do a job if he went to Inter Milan even, and I think they're owned by a Chinese investors as well. They'd love the revenue boost.
Shall I read some comments?
Yeah, go for it, please.
Because there's 17 people in the chat and there's a lot of shit going on. So let's run through. Dan, part of the channel, obviously, all his career is used to playing under a manager who listens to him and keeps him center stage. Clubs and Glazers will hide behind Ten Hag's comments. This thing saddens me. Not even a single comment about the dark reality this club is given. Dan Rice thinks he seems to go to Madrid because Benzema's injured and there's rumours. So,
I don't see that.
he said in an interview his mental condition was not right and that's the cause of his dip in performance. He may be pushing his performances in the World Cup to attract European top clubs. Wise TV Zambia. I think you're new. I've not seen you before. Welcome. Best decision, time to let a man finish legs and big ego go. Should have been gone in summer, or he made us lose Cavani because of that. Cavani left. And then Dan replied, don't think Cavani leaving hurting us much. Last season Cavani wasn't available due to injury. And then J Mao, what's going on in this club since Sir Alex left? Until now there was no direction. Why? Maybe CR7 is just talking the truth. So
yeah, just coming back to a couple of comments on that. Look, the fan base are definitely kind of split on this with a lot of the things, and the main thing I taken away from that interview was a lot of the things he said about the Glazers, the facilities, are absolutely spot on, and we've highlighted that many a times on this channel. There's no disagreement there whatsoever, but I think he only threw that in there with the stuff that he was saying to balance out him not looking like an absolute idiot and just completely slagging everyone off. That's how because if I'm going into it, the guy's a smart man. He's not just a footballer. He's a businessman. He's a smart guy. He knows what he's doing. He would have ran through it with Piers Morgan and said, how should I answer this? How should I say this? How will it come off and have a certain effect? It's all media and PR.
They did the sympathy angle as well. Like they peppered that in as well.
Exactly.
Yeah. Not to take away from that. What happened to him?
Of course
complete
not.
Tragedy. No. And I feel for anybody who's lost a child and stuff like that. And I'm not saying anything about, but it's very tactically used in terms of being able to put in this other stuff as well.
Yeah. So it kind of balanced it out, and then not everyone could absolutely slag him off for what he said. With the fans, you mention anything about the Glazers, that's it. They will back you to the hills, whoever it is, regardless. Some of the worst people on the planet could say it, and we'd be like, he's right about the Glazers. Ralph
Ragnick, everybody thought he was a shit manager and stuff, but the stuff he said about the Glazers has been proved true. He's fucking spot on. So
yeah. So I'm grateful for him magnifying the issues, which obviously we already knew. But someone like a global superstar with the amount of social media firepower that he has, obviously enhances that a lot more. And obviously I'm grateful for that. But like I've already said numerous times, the disrespect to Ragnick, Ten Hag, young players, all the other things, it's just not acceptable for me, and kind of didn't tarnish his legacy for me because I still absolutely adore him and love him. But it made me think slightly different. At least that was my takeaway when I came after that interview finished. So yeah, I agree with some points, and I think it's time to move on now. CR7's time's come to an end. Not the way we wanted to do it. Like I said, like a relationship wasn't working for both sides. Best before we leave it before it gets ugly, basically, because it was only going to get worse. Thank you for the memories, Cristiano, but I don't thank him for the tantrums, and I wish you all the best.
2 questions for you both before we go. There's a lot of people in the chat, so I just think give them a bit more. Which club is he going to? If you put money on it, where's he going?
If I had a gun to my head right now, I think he'll go back. I think he'll go back to the Italian league. I think to one of the clubs there.
Club.
Napoli.
Adam.
Yeah, I'm either pushed for someone in Italy or Sporting, and I know you're saying about the coach coming out, so I'm just gonna go random throw who I said earlier. Inter Milan, why not?
And then second question, Do we sign a striker in January? And if so, who is it?
I think we get another stopgap. I think we go get a loan. Who that loan will be, I have absolutely no idea. Probably someone that ilk like an Arnautovic, a seasoned player.
God, please no.
Who's a seasoned player who's, in fairness to him, he's doing all right in Italy at the minute, but you can't have someone like that as your main striker going forward. There's no longevity in it. There's no future in it, and that's been the issue every time we've signed when we signed Igalo, there was no longevity or future in that. That was a panic buy. Cavani, the guy's 34, 35, injury issues. Ibrahimovic, absolutely a great signing when he came to us. Won things whilst he was here and did well, but again, injuries, knee injuries, all this kind of stuff. And then Ronaldo's been the exact same. It's been the same blueprint of strikers. Falcao. You go back to Falcao.
I was so excited for Falcao. I was so excited.
Yeah, and it's they've got that pedigree, but they don't fit the thing. So hopefully Ten Hag has got someone in mind, like an astute kind of buy, like Haller. When he brought Haller to Ajax, everyone was kind of, raising their eyebrows and asking questions, saying, Haller, the guy who's like basically flops in the Premier League, why would you bring him? And then the guy becomes the top goal scorer in the Champions League. So I wouldn't. My advice would be I wouldn't be too reactionary to who we go get if we go buy someone, if it's Ten Hag's choice, because I trust that man when it comes to talent. So that's one thing I'd say. Who we go and get, I have no idea. I hope we go get Gakpo, but God knows at this point it could be fucking anyone knowing the Glazers.
Adam, who we going for?
I think I'm gonna say Gakpo. Have a fluid kind of front three. They can all interchange as well. But it wouldn't honestly surprise me if they went back to Arnautovic, like Nick said, because I think Arnautovic was actually speaking to the press about it as well. How recently in the last, I think I read the quote in about this week, it could have been as well, saying how I think does he play for Bologna? It could be.
Yeah.
I think it's Bologna. Yeah, but in terms of like club size and name, Manchester United are up here. I'd love to play for a club up here, and I'd love to play for Manchester United or something along them lines anyway. So it wouldn't surprise me we've been in it and already kind of poked around on that deal as well. I think the backlash from the fan base is what kind of caused us to pull out that deal. But we don't have anyone, and nobody. There's the striker market, as we talked about even in the summer, it's just not there right now. There's no out and out striker who is available and who is, quality right there. So it's a tough market to get. So maybe someone like that, maybe someone pops up in the World Cup. You never know. We just got to wait and see. But I think it could be a Gakpo and Arnautovic loan.
Can I throw a name in the mix? Just one more name who's been mentioned. Choupo-Moting by Munich has been mentioned numerous times.
I've heard.
It'll be someone like that. It'll be 30 plus, seasoned pro, can do a job. That'll be the blueprint that they look for. Just a stopgap until summer, and then they'll go spend money on Sesko or someone.
A couple more comments. Daniel Reich, what about Cristiano Jr.? Will his contract also be torn up?
Can he play?
Yeah,
can we play him now?
Yeah, can we play him now? Rokagu, now the media can focus on someone else and not blame him anymore. Chris Obua, half the world will follow Ronaldo, GOAT forever and ever. Daniel Raj, Gakpo already costing us 80 million at this point. Every goal he scores in the World Cup will increase his price. Yeah, pretty much.
That's why I would have just do the deal before the World Cup, because his price is only going to go up. I watched him for Netherlands the other day, and he's not one of them who's constantly involved in the game, but when he gets hold of the ball, he does something. Like, his crossing is phenomenal, passing's really good, can play 10 wing striker, like multifunctional, proper modern day attacker, and he looks the part. And if we can get him for what's rumored 35-40 million, go spend that fucking money, because he's worth it. He's worth every single penny, man. Like, the guy is top player. So do we have any final?
Yeah, there's one more question in the chat. Do you think Man United will have to make a big signing as the result of the shirt sales and other merchandise and stuff like that? Glazers are not going to take the hit to the pocket well. You think that's a factor for the Glazers?
Yeah, everything, when it comes to money, everything's a factor for the Glazers, isn't it? Let's be honest. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen, because January is such a fucking minefield with the transfer window and the money that's being spent and who's going to be available. Is a young star going to break out from the World Cup? There's many variables, so it's hard to give a a solid answer on this right now. You just have to see how it develops with the World Cup and stuff. And then when we get to hit the start of January, you'll start. I'm sure there'll be so many fucking rumours. When we get into it, you'll see, yeah, exactly. Like just guys who've scored a couple of goals in the world. That guy who scored today for Saudi Arabia, they'll probably be we'll link with him at some point. Like these kind of guys who've got the slight tiniest bit of pedigree. Yeah, that's what I imagine. But my bet's Choupo-Moting or Arnautovic. I think we'll end up going and getting. So. Yeah, it's sad times for especially Cristiano Ronaldo fans. You know, as United fans, we obviously adore him to a certain extent. The interview wasn't the best. I think we can all agree we weren't massive fans of that. But I suppose, you know, we're glad it's over now. It's done. We can focus purely on the football, purely on the talents we've got coming through, which we should be doing with the likes of Garnacho, your boy Sam, and other ones coming through, Palestra. And yeah... We're going to head off soon.
Did you mention that just for Shiraz, Palestra?
Yeah, I just had to chuck that in there for him. I had to chuck that in there for him. His microphone's done that. Don't know why. But, yeah, I want to end it on a rendition of Viva Ronaldo. So unless anyone you guys have anything left to say, Adam's clearly busy. But yeah, do you have anything else to say, Sam?
Fuck the Glazers. Glazers out.
Yeah. Okay.
As always.
And we'll end it on this. Viva Ronaldo. Viva Ronaldo, running down the wing, hear United sing, Viva Ronaldo.
Everybody, if you're watching, stick around because the new show's coming up right after this. So stick around, don't go anywhere. Subscribe to the channel, follow the socials. We'll be back in like 5-10 minutes. Stick around. See you later, guys.